My wife Clara and I needed a break. Work had been relentless, and the city's constant noise was grinding us down. So, when Clara found an old travel brochure tucked in a second-hand book, advertising a place called the Emporium Hotel in upstate New York, it felt like fate. The brochure promised a timeless retreat steeped in history and charm. The photos showed a grand, Victorian-era building with ivy-covered walls, stained glass windows, and a sprawling garden. No website, just a phone number. Clara called, and a soft-spoken woman answered, confirming they had one room left for the weekend. No price was mentioned, just an invitation to experience the Emporium. We booked it. The drive was long, winding through dense forests where the trees seemed to lean inward, blotting out the sun. My GPS lost signal an hour out, but the brochure's directions were oddly precise. Turn left at the oak with the scar, right at the stone mile marker. By dusk, we reached a rusted iron gate. Beyond it stood the Emporium Hotel, its silhouette looming against a bruised purple sky. It was beautiful, but wrong. The windows glowed faintly, though no lights were visible. The air felt heavy, like it was pressing down on us. Clara squeezed my hand. "It's perfect," she whispered, her eyes bright with excitement. I forced a smile, ignoring the knot in my stomach. Inside, the lobby was a time capsule. Velvet wallpaper, crystal chandeliers, and a massive oak desk. The woman behind it, pale, with gray hair pinned tightly, introduced herself as Mrs. Hawthorne. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Welcome to the Emporium," she said, handing us a brass key for room 13. "You're our only guest tonight." The absence of other people was unsettling, but Clara was thrilled, snapping photos of the ornate staircase and whispering about how authentic it felt. Our room was on the third floor, at the end of a long hallway lined with portraits. The faces in the paintings, stern men and women in old-fashioned clothes, seemed to watch us as we passed. I swore their eyes moved, but Clara laughed it off. "It's just the lighting, Ben. Room 13 was massive, with a four-poster bed, heavy drapes, and a fireplace that crackled, despite no one tending it. The air smelled faintly of mildew and something sweeter, like rotting flowers." Clara dropped her bag and flopped onto the bed. "This place is incredible," she said. I nodded, but the unease was growing. The room felt too still, like it was holding its breath. That night, I couldn't sleep. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the occasional creak of the floorboards. Around 2 a.m., I heard a faint whisper, like voices murmuring just beyond the door. I nudged Clara, but she was out cold. I grabbed my phone to check the time. Dead. Not out of battery, just dead. The whispers grew louder, forming words I couldn't quite catch. I crept to the door and pressed my ear against it. Nothing. But when I turned back, the fireplace was out, and the room was freezing. "Clara," I whispered. She didn't stir. I shook her gently, then harder. Her skin was cold, her breathing shallow. Panic surged through me. I ran to the door, but the knob wouldn't turn. The whispers started again, now inside the room, circling me. Shadows flickered in the corners, though the room was pitch black. I pounded on the door, shouting for help, but the sound seemed to die in the air. Then a voice, clear, female, and impossibly close, whispered, "Stay!" I spun around. Clara was sitting up in bed, staring at me. Her eyes were wrong, too wide, too dark. "Ben," she said, her voice flat, "you're not leaving." I stumbled back, my heart hammering. "Clara, what's wrong with you?" She didn't answer, just tilted her head like she was listening to something I couldn't hear. The room seemed to shrink, the walls pulsing faintly. I grabbed the brass key from the nightstand and jammed it into the lock. The door swung open and I ran into the hallway. The portraits were different now. The faces were twisted, mouths open in silent screams. The hallway stretched endlessly, doors multiplying as I ran. Behind me, I heard Clara's voice, calm and cold. "Ben, come back!" Her footsteps echoed, too fast, too close. I ducked into a stairwell, descending into darkness. The air grew thicker, carrying that sickly sweet smell. The stairs led to a basement, or what I thought was a basement. The walls were stone, damp and moss-covered, lit by flickering gas lamps. Shelves lined the room, filled with glass jars. I got closer and wished I hadn't. Inside were things, organs maybe, or pieces of something human, floating in murky liquid. One jar held a pair of eyes, staring right at me. I gagged and backed away, tripping over something soft. A scream caught in my throat. It was a body, wrapped in a tarp, its face hidden. I didn't look closer. Footsteps above. Clara's voice again, sing-song now. "Ben, where are you?" I bolted through a side door, finding myself in a long corridor lined with more doors. Each one had a nameplate. Eleanor, Thomas, Margaret, dozens more. I tried one, and it opened into a small room with a single chair and a mirror. The mirror showed not my reflection but a man, pale and gaunt, his eyes black voids. He smiled, and blood trickled from his mouth. I slammed the door shut and kept running, the corridor twisting and turning until I was dizzy. Clara's voice followed, sometimes distant, sometimes whispering in my ear. "You can't leave, Ben. The Emporium keeps what it takes." I don't know how long I ran. Hours, maybe. The hotel seemed alive, rearranging itself to trap me. Finally, I stumbled into a grand dining room, its table set for a feast no one was eating. Mrs. Hawthorne stood at the far end, her smile wider now, almost splitting her face. "You're late for dinner," she said. "Where's Clara?" I demanded, my voice shaking. "She's with us now," Mrs. Hawthorne said. "As you will be." The floor beneath me shifted, and I fell, landing in a dark, damp space. The smell was overpowering, rot, blood, and that sweet decay. I scrambled to my feet, my hands brushing against something soft and cold. Bodies, dozens of them, stacked like cordwood. Some were fresh, others skeletal. I recognized Clara's jacket on one. I screamed, backing into a wall that wasn't there a second ago. A hand grabbed my ankle. Clara's face emerged from the darkness, her skin gray, her eyes empty. "Stay with me, Ben," she said, her voice a chorus of others. I kicked free and ran, finding a ladder leading up. I climbed, emerging into the lobby. The front door was there, so close. I sprinted for it, expecting it to vanish, but it held. I threw it open and stumbled into the night. The forest was silent, the hotel's glow fading behind me. I ran until my lungs burned until I reached a gas station at dawn. The clerk called the police, but when they went to the Emporium's address, they found nothing, just an empty lot, overgrown with weeds. No hotel, no Clara, no trace. They thought I was crazy, but I know what I saw, what I felt. I'm back in the city now trying to move on. But last night, I found a brass key on my nightstand, etched with the number 13. And this morning, I got a text from an unknown number. "The Emporium misses you." Attached was a photo of Clara, smiling, standing in that damned lobby. Her eyes were black. But that's not the worst part. I haven't told anyone this, not even the police. When I looked closer at the photo, I saw something in the background. A man, standing by the staircase, staring at the camera. It was me. I don't remember being there. Not like that. And every night since, I wake up with dirt under my fingernails, like I've been digging. I don't know if I escaped the Emporium, or if I'm still there, trapped in its walls, while something else is living my life.